Oh, the Moose bringing us into week 2. Here we go. Let's kick it off. Patrick Mahomes, 2-1 in his career against Justin Herbert, but Herbert's 2-0 at Arrowhead. How does that add up, Amanda? Well,
was Patrick Mahomes not playing?
Yeah, one of those games at Arrowhead, Mahomes didn't play because it was a meaningless game for Kansas City. All right, we're going to ask the Wizard of Odds whether we should follow the trends or fade the trends. Kenny White joining us here. Kenny, over the last 2 seasons, the Chiefs and Chargers have played a part in more games of 54-plus points combined than any other team in the NFL. So you following that trend, or are you fading it tonight with the total right at 54?
Well, that trend is because Patrick Mahomes, obviously, and his offense. Last year, they had the most games, the total of 54 higher as well. So I'm following that trend because it is Patrick Mahomes, and he played in preseason, and he looked great in week 1.
So over 54 points. How many points you seeing tonight? What's your model spitting out?
63, Chris.
Whoa!
63 points tonight.
63 combined between the Chiefs and the Chargers. And where are you leaning here on the spread, Kenny?
I lean a little bit to the Chiefs here, but my number says 4.5, so there's really no value. At -3, they're pretty good, a little more value there, maybe even a money line of $1.60 or less. There's value, but on the side, it's pretty close. It'll be back and forth. Justin Herbert's the real deal, and he'll definitely be able to put up points in this game.
Yeah, since he came into the league, he being Justin Herbert, the Chiefs have lost 4 regular season games at Arrowhead. Herbert has won 2 of those games. Follow or fade that trend?
I'm fading. It's such a small sample size, just 2 games. And one you just mentioned, the last game of the year in 2020, Chad Henne was the quarterback for the Chiefs that day. They had everything wrapped up, didn't need the game, and the Chargers played well. They played great in that game. And I think last year kind of surprised the Chiefs a little bit because the Chargers offense struggled out of the gate. I believe they only scored 37 points total in the first 2 weeks and put up a big number in Kansas City. And it was also Kansas City had 4 turnovers to 0 for the Chargers last year. So, this is kind of a little bit of a revenge game maybe for the Chiefs because they know they've lost back-to-back at home against the Chargers.
Hey, I want to ask you a question, Kenny, because I see Dan Fouts at the top of this list. Yesterday, Brady Quinn compared Tua Tagovailoa to Dan Fouts. I know you watch Fouts play. What do you think of that comparison?
I don't see it for the reason I kind of compare lefty and righty a little bit.
Pete doesn't see it either. Pete Prisco thought that was the worst comparison he ever heard. So I give you credit for telling it like it is.
I might go with Kenny Stabler. Maybe that's more of a
Kenny Stabler and Tua. All right, we're going to look ahead to.
Stabler had a stronger arm than Tua, though.
We are going to look ahead to Sunday's games in just a second, but let's get a player prop tonight. What's the best player prop you have for Chiefs Chargers?
Well, Matt Amendola gets his shot on Thursday night football. Harrison Butker went out with an ankle injury last week, and this guy from Oklahoma State, he's got a good leg, and he's very accurate. Inside 40 is extremely accurate, but it's extra points I'm going to go after, and I'm going after 2.5 extra points over that, minus $1.33. In games totaled 52.5 to 55.5 last year, and there were 8 of them for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes' median was 3 passing touchdowns in those games. So I got a feeling Amendola is going to line up at least 3 times, maybe 4 times tonight to kick extra points.
All right, over 2.5 extra points for the new Chiefs kicker tonight. Kenny White giving us some picks tonight for the big Thursday night game between the Chiefs and the Chargers. It's so big that we have a pregame show that might be even bigger than the game itself. Kenny White's going to be on the coverage. So will Pete Prisco, Bryant McFadden, Scott Pioli. Jamie Eisenberg's going to be looking at the fantasy football angle. JLC, Jason Lockett-Fora, is going to give his Week 2 picks. We've also got Larry Hartstein. The list goes on and on and on. It begins tonight, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, leading you up to kickoff. All right, let's look at some trends for Sunday's games with Kenny White. I'm going to ask you if we should follow that trend or fade that trend. The Raiders, favored by 5.5 points at home against the Cardinals. And Kenny, the Raiders are 0-9 in their last 9 against the spread as a favorite. You following or fading that trend?
Well, Chris, the only problem is I don't know what they were as a favorite. Were they -1? Were they -9? Were they -3? So those kind of stats I can't use. If you said to me the Raiders are 0-9 when favored by 6.5 or more, or 9.5 or more, then that would be a little bit of value to me. But I'm going to fade that trend. I like the Raiders because I'm actually fading the Arizona Cardinals, and it's a Cardinal team that has a very weak defense, and that defense is going to put a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray. He already has pressure on him from the contract, all the talk about him not reviewing game tapes and getting prepared for a game. Sure didn't look like he got prepared last week. Now he's on the road. Going to be a tough spot. The Raiders are a better football team. And you know what? Carr for Vegas, he's much better quarterback when he has the lead or he's way behind. If it's a close game, he kind of struggles a little bit with those happy feet, but he's really good at, I think, in this situation, even though you're telling me they're 0-9 as a favorite.
-5.5 is the line this weekend for the Raiders against a Cardinals team that just looked terrible against the Chiefs. We'll find out if that was more about the Chiefs or more about the Cardinals this week. All right, Seahawks getting 10 at the 49ers. Geno Smith has covered 9 straight starts, and Wizard, that dates back nearly a decade. You following or fading that trend?
Wow, that's an amazing trend. I'm going to fade it for the fact that every game's a snowflake, and it's we could flip a coin 9 straight times and it's heads, but the next time we flip it, it's still going to be a 50-50 coin toss, and I think that's the same thing that goes here. Now we watched Geno Smith the first half last week. Denver put no pressure on him, and he goes 16 for 17. Second half, they got pressure on him, and he struggled a little bit more in the second half. 49ers got a lot better pass rush. He's going to be under pressure the entire game this week. So, and that's such an emotional win. I don't know how they come back and are ready to play. They put so much into that game.
So a couple of fades to start, and even a snowflake reference from the Wizard, Kenny White. Let's move on to the Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa getting 3.5 in Baltimore against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. The Dolphins are 9-1 straight up. Their last 10 games, dating back to last season when they went on that long winning streak, they've covered 8 of those 10. You following or fading that trend?
No, fading. Who knows? They could have played Jacksonville 10 straight games. I'm still not a believer in Tua Tagovailoa, and game 1 just gave me that much more. He does not have the arm strength to stretch the field. He only made 5 passes over 20 yards, and he went 2 for 5 of those passes, and 1 was a remarkable catch by a receiver. He really should have been 1 for 5, and 3 of the 5 were uncatchable passes. So he just doesn't have the arm strength. And if you don't have the arm strength, you better be Drew Brees and have that type of accuracy. And I don't think so. So I think he's going to struggle.
Geez, Kenny has faded the first 3 here for our games on Sunday. How about the Jags? They're hosting the Colts. They're getting 4 points. Jacksonville 12-1-1 against the spread, facing Indy since 2015.
Yeah, again, I think that's a coin flip thing. You could flip coins and go 12-1 with heads, and then this next coin flip's 50-50. So that doesn't give me any help in my handicapping. I'm going to fade that strong because the Colts were knocked out of the playoffs last year by Jacksonville, and I think the Colts will be ready. I think they're going to be very well prepared, especially coming off a game that they tied that they should have won. So they may have been looking ahead to this game and had this game circled on their calendar. I think Indy puts it to Jacksonville this weekend.
You are just destroying producer Noah, who had such high hopes for this fade or follow segment. I do have one more for you, and I think you're going to have to follow this trend, okay? The Jets are getting 6.5 at the Browns. They've lost 13 straight games in September. If you're going to fade that, that means you're going to take Jets money line. So I'm guessing you're following this one.
Well, they've lost 13 straight.
Right. Lost 13
September.
straight games in September. Have the Jets. Yes.
That when you start to get to be 13-0, and it is a straight up, so there's no points involved to equal the teams. This Jets organization has been upside down for years, and we saw Robert Saleh come out and try to, back his team up. He's trying to change the culture there, but it's hard to change, and it's hard to become a winner when you've lost so many games. I don't believe in this Jets team, and I think they end up with the least amount of wins of any team in the NFL this year. My model has them winning just 3.3 games, so I'm going to fade this, or I'm going to follow this.
Yeah, you're following.
that streak continues and it goes to 14 and Cleveland wins big this week. But no, I had fun with this. This is great. Doesn't matter fade or follow. If they're all one way or another, it's still fun.
All right, finally, we get Kenny to follow a trend, and it's on the Jets losing once again as 6.5-point dogs in Cleveland against the Browns, who are looking to start 2-0 for the first time in almost 3 decades. 1993 or 4 was the last time. Kenny White with us here on CBS Sports HQ. You're going to see a lot more from him coming up later in the 6 and 7 o'clock Eastern Time hour, getting ready for kickoff tonight, Chargers-Chiefs. He is with the great team at Sportsline. You can join for $1 for your first month. Sportsline.com/join. Use that promo code TROPHY and you get it for $1 for a month.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.